Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the Deer Creek Arms muzzle device, okay? So this is $120 with shipping. So the good thing about these guys is they do send it USPS, so this is good because something this small, you don't want to pay like $15 to get something like this shipped. I mean, it did take probably an extra 3 or 4 days for me to get it because it's USPS. It took the scenic route around the country, but I got it. And what we have here, right, when you take this thing apart, it is a shielded muzzle brake, okay? So it's a 2-chamber muzzle brake, and then there's a blast shield that goes on top of it to basically, it shields the concussion. And we're gonna see how, we're gonna compare it to a couple of other muzzle devices I have. We're gonna see how good this is, okay? So, something interesting about this, basically you got a flat here on the muzzle brake. There's a little rubber, I guess, spacer in there, right? I guess the reason for that is because this way you can get it on tight without this thing coming loose. What usually happens with a lot of these things that tighten up with the carbon buildup, a lot of times you have a really hard time of getting this off. So with that rubber spacer, it's going to be easier. However, the rubber washers are typically, especially on something that gets hot, you might get a year or two out of it, especially because all of my guns are cold stored, right? So we go from this thing being I don't know, 200 degrees when I'm shooting it, to 10 degrees that it is right now. So the rubber is not going to last a whole lot, but however, it is a cheap item that you can probably replace at your regular Lowe's or Home Depot. Now, the brake itself, if you want to use the brake by itself, you want to time it. So you use a crush washer to get this to sit horizontally. Today I'm not going to do that because I'm not intending to leave it on the gun. I intend to, because today I'm going to be testing this on an AR-15 on a 13-inch AR barrel. I got the AR-10 version, right? So this is 5/8 by 24. So this is going to end up on my AR-10. However, I'm testing it on the AR-15 because it's going to allow me, I'm going to test it on both guns. I'm going to test it both with the AR-15 and the AR-10. And what I have here is I got this stainless steel adapter, right, that I got on from Amazon. It was 2 for $10. And what's going to happen is that's going to thread into this, right, like that. And then this will thread onto the AR-15. So if you get the 308 version, right, the 5/8 by 24, you can shoot it in both your AR-15s and your AR-10s. Okay. So this I've seen a couple of different designs. One of the ones I was also considering getting was the Whip Machinery. They have a 3-chamber muzzle brake. And then they have a blast shield that's more open on the end. Comes out, it's a little bit longer. It's also more expensive. It was it's normally $180. Now they're selling it for $150. With the shipping, it'll probably get closer to $180. So, I'm a big fan of trying out the cheaper thing first and seeing how good it is, okay? Before you go more expensive. So that's why I went with this one, because it's a little bit cheaper. I also like that it's compact, all right? It's a compact, actually, it's you know what? Let me get a tape measure. I'm curious how long it is. Hold on, let me pause. This thing with the shield on is 3 inches. Okay, 3 inches without my adapter in there because the adapters. So it's 3 inches. So this is a good size. Even for even not for a suppressor. I don't like these 6-inch suppressors, 6 to 8 inches. I think I would want one to be about 3 inches, or inside of 4 inches. So this is a really good size. Now, if this is not a suppressor, right now, February 2025, there's a really good chance that suppressors might come out of the NFA. If that happens, I'm not going to run over to the companies that make suppressors and charge $1,000 and try to buy one from them if they come out of the NFA. I'm going to go to the companies that make shielded muzzle brakes and see what they offer, because there's a good chance that they're going to be able to offer suppressors if they come out of the NFA for about $200, maybe even less. Okay. Now, if suppressors do come out of the NFA, one of the questions is, well, what do you do with this? What do you do with this then, all right? Is it worth anything? Well, looking at this design, like comparing it to my Radical firearms, right? This kind of does the same thing. This is a more open design. So as suppressors come out of the NFA and you're able to modify these as you want, right? Basically, I'd have to get like a stainless steel washer, right, that has a hole in it, and basically weld that onto here to try and get better performance out of this, right? Because otherwise it's garbage. You're just going to throw it out. I mean, you know, if you can get suppressors for about $200, why would you want this on the gun? So that's what I would try and do with this if suppressors came out of the NFA. Now with this style here, well, here's the one I have from Core Valley, right? So there's a linear compensator. So with this one, what I would try to do is I'd get my welder out and I'd weld these little holes around the side. So that's an easy modification that you could make. Same deal with this, right? If suppressors came out of the NFA, and I don't know, I don't know the, like, even right now, like, I don't know the legality of it. Like, maybe it's legal to do it now. I don't know. You know, it's not something I'm interested in doing. But certainly, if suppressors come out of the NFA, that would be a non-issue. So you could take a welder, fill in these little holes around the side over here, really easy, really cheap, and hopefully that would improve the performance. I don't know if it would. What you might want to do is test it out by maybe getting some nuts and bolts and maybe running a couple of little bolts from the outside in, and maybe putting like a lock nut on the outside here and seeing how that performs if you close the outer holes. Okay, so the point is that, like, if you're shopping for muzzle devices now, you know, think where you want to be if suppressors do come out of the NFA. Okay, so that's something to consider. But anyway, let's get on with testing this. So we're going to be using this. We're going to be comparing it to a couple of other muzzle devices. We're going to compare it to this Radical firearm Spitfire. So far, this is the best muzzle device I've been able to find because it does recoil reduction very well. It does flash reduction really well. I can shoot this at night and there's hardly any flash. And also with the noise, like, it still makes noise, right? But it really changes the tone, brings it down. And I was shooting this at like 11.5 inch to 500 yards about a week ago, right? I was getting some nice 2.6 MOA groups at 500 yards. And the interesting thing is that 500 yards with this muzzle device, it lowers the tone enough so that I can hear the whistling going out, right? So the bullets sound like those little bottle rockets, right? They're screeching out. So that's the bullets going out. Normally, with like a bird cage or something, you can't hear it because the bang from the muzzle, the muzzle noise itself, overwhelms it. The noise is still there, but you know, the muzzle noise overwhelms it, and you can't hear the bullets whistling downrange. So with this muzzle device here, this muzzle brake from Spitfires, I can actually hear the bullets whistling downrange. Okay, so this is what we're going to be comparing it to. And we're also going to compare it to the Core Valley. Now, the Spitfire was about $140. The Core Valley, which is a linear comp, is about $35, $40. Okay, so this is a really cheap option that works very decent with AR pistols, right? Because it really brings the noise down to a level where I can comfortably shoot it with earmuffs. Now with the Radical firearms, right? With this one, I can shoot it just with the little ear cushions, okay? Like I have right now. Right? That's what we're going to be testing this out with. With the Core Valley, if I shoot it with the ear cushions, it gets uncomfortable. I have to shoot this in an AR pistol. I have to shoot it with normal earmuffs, okay? So I have a good way of comparing how effective that's going to be. I had also tested out this Badlands muzzle device, okay? Again, this is on my AR-10, so I had tested this out with the adapter, right? With the adapter. So when I had that on the 13-inch, when I shot it with the ear cushions, it was still a little too loud. When I put the earmuffs on, it was very comfortable. So again, we're using the ear cushion method here to decide, is it below it or is it above it? Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So I'll make sure the camera's still running. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is first, I got a whole bunch of magazines here loaded with 2 rounds. Okay, let me get this out of the way because we're not going to shoot the Badlands today. I'm going to shoot 2 rounds with the Spitfire. Okay. So again, just with the ear cushions now. Okay, so with that, and that's an 11.5-inch barrel. Okay, so with the 11.5-inch barrel with the Radical Firearms Spitfire device, it is comfortable to shoot just with the ear cushions. I wish Radical Firearms was still selling it. I hope they bring it back. That's a great muzzle device. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shoot this 13-inch. So we're going to put the Core Valley on here now. Again, this is a $35 one, $35 muzzle device. Linear comp. There we go, got the grab. Okay, we're not using the crush washer right now, just, I just want to see how the noise is. Okay. So we're going to shoot 2 rounds now, just using the ear cushions. So you may not be able to tell in the camera, right? Because the camera limits the sounds. The microphone has limitations, and also your speakers on your end have limitations. But that was louder. Okay, that was louder with the ear cushions. I wouldn't want to be shooting too many rounds with that. So now we're going to put the Deer Creek one on. So I'm going to put the. So we're going to put the adapter on. All right. So again, this is like $10 from Amazon. And the nice thing is when you get like the larger one, you can shoot both 308s and AR-15, 308s and 5.56. So we're not going to time it. We're just going to put it on. We're going to hand tighten this. Okay. Okay, let's shoot this. So this is going to tell us a lot. Like, this is going to tell us, at least on the noise side. It's a little bit better as far as noise goes. It's a little bit better than the Core Valley, which I'm really grateful for, because since this was only $30, I would like to see some type of an improvement. So it is a little bit better than this, right? This definitely popped my ears a little bit more, with the little ear cushions. But it is definitely not as good as the Radical Firearms Spitfire muzzle device. Now, of course, this is bigger. There's more space in there. Let's shoot this again. Shoot a lefty so you guys can get a better view of me. Now, if I was just shooting that with the muzzle brake, I mean, I would be like, I wouldn't be able to shoot it just with the ear cushions. What I want to do now is I want to get on a bipod, and I'm going to shoot out 100 yards, and I'm going to see if there's a noticeable difference with the recoil. I'll shoot the Radical Firearm first. All right, so that was the Radical Firearm Spitfire. Now we're gonna do the Deer Creek, all right, 150 yards. Bring me up. This is 6x magnifier, so just keep everything even here. Use the magnifier on this. I know I noticed a little bit of muzzle flash when I was shooting that, so Radical Firearms definitely does a better job at reducing the muzzle flash, because I mean, even when I shoot this at night, I can't see any muzzle flash. Or if it's really dark, I'll see a little bit. With this, even in the daytime, it's cloudy now, but when I was shooting this, I was seeing some muzzle flash. Let's shoot some. And as far as the recoil, there was really no major difference. I think the Radical Firearms was a little bit better. But like I said before, you can't buy the Spitfire. It's just not available. So I'm just using that as a point of comparison to what's possible. Now the other thing to be aware of is when I put the bat, because initially I had tested out this Badlands on that same 13-inch AR pistol, and what happened is, you know, again, between this and the Core Valley, there was only a very little improvement, right? But when I went to the 308, right, and the 308, I compared, it was comparing the flash hider to the Badlands. There was a significant improvement with the 308. So what I think is going to happen is, with the 308, because it's just a lot more noise, a lot more recoil, the muzzle device, I think, is going to make an even bigger difference. There's going to be more of a difference on your AR-10 versus your 5.56. Okay, so that's what I've seen with other muzzle devices, and that's what I also expect to be the case with the Deer Creek. Make sure my ear cushions are in good. Yeah. We've got 150 yards. I want to try and stay on target. I want to shoot as fast as I can, try to stay on target. Let me do this out of curiosity. I'm going to remove the shield. I'm going to put on some. Hold on, because this thing needs to be timed. All right, I kind of have that. I'm going to shoot this like this. I'm going to put on some real earmuffs, and we're going to see how this feels like. Let me go get some real earmuffs. All right, so I put on some real earmuffs, and we're gonna shoot this just with the muzzle brake at 150 yards, and let's see how that feels. Two rounds here. with the earmuffs, I mean, the sounds about the same. So there was definitely less movement. Let me get a few more in that. All right, do this again. This is now with the muzzle brake. And then we're going to go from there to shield. Yeah, I mean, I can feel the concussion even with the earmuffs. I would not want to shoot this with just the ear cushions. Yeah, I mean, I can feel that the sound definitely drops down with the blast shield. You're definitely going to get more movement, all right? Because yeah, I mean, now you're directing, you're directing more the blast forward. The fact that like the muzzle brake kind of like shoots it out to the side, and then it goes forward. So in that turning it around, right, and redirecting it, there's a lot of energy that's lost, right? So you're gonna have a benefit from using the blast shield because there's, a lot of the energy gets transferred, into the, into the shield, right, and in turning it around, right? So there's definitely a benefit to using this. Once you use it, there's definitely an increase in the in the recoil. I think this is probably gonna make a lot more sense. I mean, the rubber's like just getting, actually the rubber. All right, that rubber is not gonna do a whole lot for you because that rubber's already like, it just, I mean, it just moved. It got crushed and then it came up and it went to the outside. So that rubber that they put there is not going to be very useful. I can tell already. So my conclusions for this part, right? Because we're going to shoot the 308 in the next video. As far as with 5.56, right? For the $120 that this is, you're only getting like a little bit of a little more additional benefit than just using a $35 Core Valley linear comp or even the tack fire. The tack fires are like $10, like they're usually like $20. And over the holidays, I saw the tack fires for $10 at Optics Planet. So on the 5.56, there's very little additional benefit to this combination versus, this $120 combination versus this $35 combination. You get a little extra length. Okay. The benefit is that, hey, if you want to shoot a muzzle brake, you can quickly unscrew this and you got, you can really, because the muzzle brake, yes, that reduces the recoil a little bit, right? But I'm going to shoot the 308 next because my opinion was exactly the same with the Badlands. Look at that. So I came to the same conclusion with the Badlands, where on the 5.56, there was very little additional benefit of this $120 Badlands versus the $35 Core Valley or the $20 tack fire. Very little additional benefit. However, when I went to the 308, right, on this AR-10, that's when I saw some real benefit. Okay, so if I was to make a suggestion, I would say probably don't bother getting it for your AR-15 unless you really want to have a muzzle brake on it, and then you've got, you know, the option of putting the shield on it when you don't want that extra concussion. But it's, we're going to test out the AR-10. I'll let you guys know what I think, but I think that's where it's going to probably pay some dividends. Okay, so that'll be the next video I do.